and welcome to Studio 7. We hope you enjoyed your Christmas and are getting ready to bring in a new year. It's hard to believe it's almost 2014. On today's show, Renne Elfert has a delicious recipe for Black Eyed Pea soup. It's a New Year's tradition with a twist. And the new year means new priorities for many of us. And today, Jessica Fair is offering some resolutions we may want to consider for our homes. Plus, we still have several more weeks of winter to deal with. In today's Style File, we're breaking down the rules of layering our clothes so that we promote warmth and, of course, fashion. But to kick things off today, many of us will gather with friends tomorrow night to celebrate New Year's. If you're like us, maybe you enjoy the idea of ringing in the new year surrounded by your whole family, including the kids, or maybe you just can't find a babysitter. Either way, there are some fun things that you can do to enjoy the evening. First, if your kids are little, they may not be able to stay up until midnight. No worries, just host a mock celebration, even if you do it at 8 or 9 p.m. Here's another fun idea. How about planning for a balloon drop? Just suspend a bunch of balloons above the kids and release them as you celebrate the new year. Another idea, it might be fun to let the kids create a time capsule that will remain sealed until they are 18 years old. Okay, well, maybe just until next year. How about that? We love to make breakfast for dinner in our house on New Year's Eve and pile a bunch of blankets and sleeping bags in the living room for a great big slumber party. And finally, take a look at these two ideas that we found on Pinterest. How about a sucker ring with a title tag that says Ring in 2014, so cute. Or this is a fun way to do this. Just print off some sheets that prompt your children to articulate their goals for the new year. Just some great ideas that will hopefully allow you to entertain your family for a safe and happy New Year's celebration. For some of us, a new year is a great time to search for new places to shop and eat. To meet the needs of a growing population, West Texas is brimming with lots of great new places. Today, Sharon Gaines takes us on the move with a look at some new hot spots for West Texas. I love this.
Yes, you know, there's so many to choose from. It was hard for me to pick which ones to tell you about today. In the last year or so, there has been at least 20 new restaurants in the Midland, Odessa area, not counting outside the city limits in the other areas. So there's just so many to choose from, and no matter where you're at, there's a new restaurant.
Okay, and you're going to tell us about some of them, right?
I'm going to tell you about some. First up is in Midland. We have the Saltgrass Steakhouse. Great food, legendary hospitality, so they say. It's one of the newest dining spots in town, and it's at 4511 West Loop 250 North. And they have a dinner and a lunch menu. It's delicious. You got to try it out. In Odessa, you have got to try the Egg and I. It's in the new Parks Legato Center off 191 and Billy Hext. It's an American breakfast and brunch. You've got to get there by 2 though, or you'll miss out. It's indoor and patio dining, and they also offer a 36 guest meeting room. So you can start your day at the Egg and I, go shopping. You know we're about some serious shopping here at Studio 7, and you can finish up the day in Midland with dinner at the Saltgrass Steakhouse. This week's OCL Spotlight is on Monahan's. This adorable little town has several wonderful boutiques and restaurants. So you could take a Monahan's day and go to one of their 5-star restaurants on South Main Street. It's called Howard's Drive-In, 600 South Main Street. Great food, and best of all, they serve generous portions. While you're there, tell Howard that Studio 7 said hello. That'll get you started.
That is plenty. I want to do all of those things. Have a great steak, have a great breakfast, and head to Monahan's for the generous portions. Sharon, thank you so much. We'll be highlighting different restaurants and places to shop throughout 2014. Thanks for being here today. Up next on Studio 7, do you make New Year's resolutions? The start of a new year seems like a good time to make some positive life changes. Our guest Collin Sewell shares his strategies for staying focused and motivated. It's coming up next on Studio 7. Stay with us. Welcome back to Studio 7. Statistics show that 45% of Americans make a New Year's resolution, but only 8% of us actually keep them. Today, we are rethinking the way we view this traditional pledge to make positive life changes, and our guest is Collin Sewell. Collin, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Okay, full disclosure, our families are good friends. His wife is one of my besties, and it's really created some opportunities for us to have the best conversations around a dinner table, and we kind of wanted to invite you into that conversation today.
Sure.
And you have sort of an idea about resolutions, why they work, and how we should reframe that.
Well, I think all of us have set New Year's resolutions, and usually, by the 5th of January, some of us have already busted those, and maybe by the 2nd.
You make it to the 5th?
Yeah, exactly.
That's good.
Which I think would make us a record holder in a lot of cases. But I don't know, what I've learned, one of the tough things for me was that everybody sets New Year's resolutions, based upon their problems. And so that means every morning they're getting up focusing on something that frustrates them. And then number 2, we spend all this time thinking we're setting long-term goals called a year, instead of thinking about something we want to accomplish in 5 or 10 years and looking at that one change as just part of a really long-term process.
Right.
And so it's kind of like choosing a diet versus healthy living. And so a lot of us set diet goals of how much weight we want to lose. Well, that's frustrating. Instead of looking at it, no, I want to make healthy choices.
Exactly.
So sometimes it's not what we should delete from our diet. Sometimes it's what we ought to add into it. And so for me, it's just about making positive resolutions in a lot of ways.
Well, we talked about sort of, struggling with eating healthier, and it's not just so that you can, look good in a swimsuit in June.
Right.
It's so that you can be 60 and still be able to walk up a flight of stairs,
Yeah,
right?
that's right. Absolutely. I mean, one of the things that I've said long term is really one of my goals is that I want to be able to ride horses with my great-grandchildren. So that word picture says a lot about what I have to do in order to make that a reality. I mean, so if I'm 80 and still able to get on a horse and spend time with my great-grandchildren,
Right.
there's a lot that goes into that one picture. I mean, the very fact that I would have great-grandchildren, which means that we'd have a good enough relationship with our kids and grandkids.
Right, that's so
And
true.
the fact that I've made positive health choices as far as exercise, physical exercise, mental growth, spiritual growth. So that's what I try to do, is think of the picture of what I want and then understand what do I have to do to get there.
One of the things I appreciate about you and Megan is y'all are two of the most disciplined people I know. Now, we're not saying perfect, so we want to
No,
be clear.
not at all.
But you both have the ability to sort of create some positive habits in your lives. So how do you stay motivated to whatever, exercise, eat, read your Bible? I mean, you're good at that. How do you do that?
So my friend John Maxwell said that nobody changes their life until they change something they do daily. And so for me, part of staying positive or being proactive is to think in a positive manner every single morning. And so I try to not focus on problems, but on solutions.
Yeah.
And so if somebody poses a problem to me, the first question I go to is, what's the solution?
What happens when you mess up? Because this is, again,
Oh, yeah.
going back to the diet for me. I go 10 days and I'm perfect, and then I have a cheeseburger.
Yeah.
It's all about sort of getting back on the horse and maybe being a little forgiving of yourself, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, I think definitely that that's the case. I think also that you and I have to have small rewards along the way. And so maybe the reward is a splurge meal every 10 days, right? If you've been really disciplined, so you set those little mini goals that go along the way. But I think, that's part of thinking long term. Every one of us are going to have setbacks. Every one of us are going to fall off. The kicker is, do we get back up? So I think that's the real thing. Maxwell wrote a book called Failing Forward. And that was the real statement that he made is the question is not, do you get down? The question is, will you get back up?
And that's the key. I mean, that really is sort of the great divide between people who are able to overcome.
Yeah, well, I shared with our team just a few weeks ago that one of the greatest gifts you and I could ever give ourselves is to become what I call batteries included. And so I'm always amazed at the people who rely on someone else to motivate or encourage them, versus just understanding they're going to be like the greatest toy we gave our kids this year.
Yes.
They're going to come batteries included. We didn't have to go and buy extra batteries. The gift came with the batteries, and you put that in and it goes.
That's good.
And I think that a person has to decide to make that choice too. I'll motivate myself, I'll encourage myself, I'll develop myself. I'm not going to rely on someone else to do that. And so for me, if a person could make one great choice, it would be to become batteries included.
I love that. Collin, thank you so much for being
Thank
here
you.
with us. When we come back on Studio 7, if you're just a little bit superstitious, you're probably thinking about how you're going to sneak in some Black Eyed Peas tomorrow night. Renne Elfert takes us into the kitchen for a yummy soup and all the fixins that's perfect for New Year's Eve. Stay with us on Studio 7. Welcome back to Studio 7. In our family, on New Year's, we all have to have at least a spoonful of Black Eyed Peas just to ensure good luck. So why don't we jazz things up this year and make a dish your family will love? It's time for this week's Kiss the Cook.
A big tradition for a lot of families at New Year's is to have some black-eyed peas, and you have a great soup for us today, so you don't have to just sort of choke down the black-eyed pea. You can make it a meal.
That's right. Tatum, we started making this soup back when I had my restaurant. It's called Huntington's Black Eyed Pea Soup. And with all the busyness of the cooking during the holidays, it's just kind of an easy way to not have to spend a lot of time in the kitchen and make sure we get in those black eyed peas. And my kids really do enjoy it. It's great served with cornbread or a green salad, and you don't have to spend a lot of time doing cooking. So
Smells wonderful.
All it has in it is a pound of black eyed peas. I use the dry. You can easily use the can if you prefer, but you just take your pound of black eyed peas, soak them overnight, rinse them. I made it in a pan. You can easily do it in a crock pot, and it just has a few simple ingredients. It's got fresh carrots, which a great thing to know about fresh carrots if you use the whole one is it's not necessary to peel it, which takes up a lot of time. If you just scrub it, get a little bit of the dirt off of it, it has a lot of the vitamins and nutrients in the peel, and that's a great easy way. You don't have to take the time to peel a carrot.
Oh, saves a step.
Saves a step.
Absolutely, okay.
And then a little bit of celery. It has a little bit of chopped onion, some fresh garlic, just a few spices, and broth. And then it has smoked ham. And what I did is you can purchase these smoked pork chops at the grocery store. There's about 3 to a package, and you just take them and chop them up and then add that to it. Also, you can buy chopped ham already chopped as well.
So is this cooked when you buy it
this
this
is
way?
already cooked.
Okay.
It's fully cooked. All you have to do is chop it up and add it to your soup.
And that adds a flavor to it?
And it adds a little bit of the smoke flavor, plus gives a little meat to your dish.
Okay. Oh, that's great.
Okay. So when you, after you cook this, you simmer it. You can put it in the crock pot that morning. It'll be ready when you get home. Or you can put it all together in a pan and simmer it for a couple of hours, and you're good to go. And what we're going to do with this is put a little dollop of sour cream.
Oh, you're a girl after my own heart. I love
A little bit of shredded Monterey Jack cheddar, and little bit of cilantro, and you've got a wonderful.
I'm going to show it to our camera just so you see how pretty it is all put together. Your black-eyed peas, this is for a good luck in 2014.
That is. It is a great, great meal to have on a cold winter's night.
Yes. Now, one thing we are talking about today, we're going to add a tip of the week.
Yes.
I love this because I have wanted to know how to do this for as long as I've been trying to cook, and it's how to chop that darn onion.
How to chop an onion. Everybody hates to chop an onion. And so the easiest way is you take your onion and you go from root to root.
Okay.
And just cut it directly in half. And then keeping it together, you're going to just cut off one end. So you keep the other end together. And then you'll take your peel off. It'll come off just real easily. And leave your end together.
Okay, so don't cut the other end.
Don't cut the other end. It holds the onion together. And then you take it and just slice it like this.
So you're not cutting all the way through.
I'm not cutting all the way through. And it holds your onion together. And then you just go like this. And it's very, very quick. It keeps the juices from coming out. And look, you have got finely diced chopped onion in just a few seconds, and you don't have all the time chopping, dispersing the juices that'll make your eyes water.
Well, you're crying at the end of it.
That's exactly right.
That is genius. Keep that end together.
Keep the
never
end
heard
together.
that.
And the most important thing to do in your kitchen is make sure you have a really sharp knife. A dull knife is what causes injury. It'll slip. You can cut yourself, and a lot of people think the sharper they are, the more dangerous, but that's actually the opposite of the truth. So you need to always make sure you have a really sharp knife when you prepare in the kitchen, and that is just a great, easy way to chop an onion.
Okay, I'm not as intimidated now. Maybe we'll try that.
Another thing that I use frequently is fresh garlic.
Okay.
And I get a lot of questions on how you peel it. When you take it off, it's got all this skin on it. You simply set it down.
Now,
and
what is that called?
This is one clove.
One clove.
This is one clove. They come in a bunch. They just peel off like this. And then you take your garlic and you take the wide end of your knife and smash it. And what that does is just release the skin, and it just comes out very, very easily. Pops right out like that, and you've got your piece of garlic that you just have to slice.
That is awesome. Pop that thing. It comes right out.
Pop it, loosens that skin, and it'll just come right out.
tips that will make us better and more comfortable in the kitchen. That's the key.
exactly right.
Renne, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
We still have several weeks of winter left, so that means the temperatures are going to be cold. Our Style File contributor, Paige Passmore, joins us now with some tips on layering our wardrobe. And Paige, this is about warmth, but let's be honest, this is also about style.
It's all about style. We can take things out of our closet that we've always had and turn them into a really great layered look that's in style and keeps you warm out there, because we know how this West Texas weather can be. It can be 70 one day and it can be 20 the next.
Or 70 in the morning and 20 in the evening.
Exactly.
So it does change. So what are some of your basic premises for layering?
I have 5 pieces in my layering portfolio. We start with a basic piece. That would be your tank top, your short sleeve fitted shirt, or camisole. On top of that, you would have a collared button down, and then you could do 1 or 2 sweaters and then a jacket or a vest. And some of the sweaters and the outerwear can be intermixed. If you really like sweaters, get a couple sweaters and a jacket. If you really like jackets, get a couple jackets and a sweater.
Okay, now one of the questions that comes to my mind immediately is, as we're layering, does it make us look fuller? Like, if we tend to be concerned about that, should we be concerned that we're, it's not flattering?
You definitely don't want to wear all 5 pieces at the same time, because that would make you look like a marshmallow.
person.
Right. So we want to pick 2 or 3 of those pieces to wear at the same time. You can take that tank or that tee. Let's say it's a day that it's 60 out. Just put that collared shirt on top. You're good to go. You can tie it. You can leave it open. You can close it. There you go. Let's say it's 40. Let's throw a sweater on top of that. You've got the collar out, so you have your sweater with your button down untucked, and then your undershirt.
Okay.
Great. Okay, gets a little bit colder. Let's remove that collared shirt and let's wear your tank or tee with your sweater and a vest. And then on those days that it's really cold, let's take that tank, your sweater, and your jacket, and then throw a scarf on it.
And what's so cute about layering that I see in stores and in fashion magazines is you see the layers. Like, you let the little camisole hang out a little bit, or you let the collar or the cuffs hang out. That's the part of the style that really is working these days.
It is, and you want to show the layers. So then that way, if somebody does think you might look a little strange or larger that day, they can see all your layers and know that you're bundled up, because it's cold out there. But you also, it's a look, it's in style right now.
Yes.
And you can take things out of your own closet. You don't have to buy anything and make it a whole new look. A couple of rules about your color scheme when it comes to layering. The camisole, the underneath, needs to be a good neutral, or like I said, a color that goes with a lot. The button down, I would say stick with white, black, or blue. Your sweaters is where you can pull in that really fun, those bright colors, a red during the holidays, or a really nice, burgundy or maroon or turquoise.
Yes.
And then your jacket and vest, you want those to go with everything you have in your closet. You're going to wear it every day. So that you need to stick with a winter white, a gray, or a black.
Paige Passmore, thank you so much for being our Style File contributor and getting us on the right path for layering. Thank you. Still ahead on Studio 7, a new year is a great time to get a fresh perspective, maybe even when it comes to your house. When we come back, Jessica Fair joins us with some resolutions to consider when it comes to decorating. Stay with us here on Studio 7. Welcome back to Studio 7. Today we're talking about New Year's home resolutions. Jessica Fair is our Drab To Fab contributor, and she joins us now. Jessica, this is a good time to sort of take inventories of our homes and resolve to make some changes.
Absolutely. The new year is no better time to start. And I think it's really important to take the time to simplify your life. And so that's really my first New Year's home resolution. And I made this based on things that even I needed to do in my own home.
Right, we practice what we preach,
yes,
right?
Or you shouldn't preach it at all. So simplify and declutter. Like, go through your stuff. Do you really need like 4 of everything? Do you need to have everything you own on the same shelf? Do you need to have everything in the same room? So pick your focal points about the room and decide, I'm going to rearrange around that area because that's what I love. That's what I want people to notice when they walk in my home.
Well, even sometimes the little things, like I love picture frames.
Absolutely.
So 4 or 5 picture frames is a good thing. 400
maybe
is a little much.
We should reconsider and maybe consider a gallery wall. So you can get the same feel, but it would look tasteful and not overwhelming.
Okay, so the next thing that you have to offer for us is update the outdated, so tweak some things.
Yes, and you just probably got some new things for Christmas, and they're probably more in style. So some of your stuff, you might have that old rundown side table, repaint it, or maybe a mirror needs some tweaking, you can embellish it, and it will look like something brand new, not something super duper old.
Even things like changing out the pillows, you say,
Oh,
or
that's one
a
of
quick
the
window treatment.
Easiest things, or a rug, super easy.
This is a good idea. Okay, the next one, get outside your comfort zone.
Yes, and you want to stay comfortable. So I like to say be comfortably outside your comfort zone.
Okay.
So basically, be willing to think outside the box, because there's a reason you want to change things. And so if you don't change your thinking, you're not going to change the way you design and decorate your home. But you can do it within reason to still feel comfortable.
Small changes, outside
changes.
your comfort zone.
Yes.
And this last one, this is a big one for our family because I come from Matchy-Matchy family. Like it's all got to be the same shade of purple and, you know, all the same print. No matchy-matchy. This is my motto for 2014. No matchy-matchy.
No matchy-matchy. And I was telling someone yesterday, think about it being like a relationship. Are you exactly like your husband? Is he exactly like you? No, you complement each other, and maybe you bring out the best. So maybe this pillow complements that drape, but it doesn't have to be exactly the same.
I love that concept,
right?
Yes, because I understand that.
Don't match. That's boring.
Jessica, we're going to get deeper into all of these topics as the year goes on. Thank you so much for being here with us today. Thank you so much for joining us this week on Studio 7. We hope you were inspired by something you saw right here today. If you have questions for our contributors or even some ideas for the show, visit us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. And remember, we update those sites several times every day, so check in often. You can find a link for all of that information at cbs7.com. On behalf of all of us at Studio 7, thanks again for watching and Happy New Year. We'll see you next week.
All of us ladies
at Soul Family Companies
and me
wish you and yours a happy holiday.